What's up, everybody? Max and Ryan here on Friday, March the 20th. This is Energy Tonight. We're going to be focusing on the coronavirus today. The world as we know it has really flipped upside down over these past weeks. And, we're going to catch you guys up to speed on how that affects the energy industry.
Absolutely. But Ryan, real quickly, the gas market update.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's get through the gas market here real quick because I want to spend as much time talking about the coronavirus as possible. Obviously, this is the hot topic right now, but the last couple weeks in the natural gas market, we've seen a downward trend, and it seemed like we were starting to shift bullish the last time we discussed this, but we saw gas at the single lowest point that it's been since 1999. Gas dropped down to $1.61. On March 11th at the Henry Hub, we were printing $1.92, and it seemed again at that point we were on, it seemed like we were moving up. Seemed like gas was making a run, but here we are as we speak at $1.63, and the trend seems bearish again. It's really unbelievable. We just have a massive oversupply issue, keeping prices really cheap, and demand for the most part has remained relatively steady. But we have seen a decrease just in businesses shut down due to the virus. So, bankruptcies could potentially drive prices back up in the natural gas market. But, there's just so much uncertainty with the coronavirus right now. And really that leads us into the conversation because there is nothing more important. There's no analysis out there, weather indicators, nothing that's going to have a bigger impact on the energy market than the coronavirus.
Absolutely. And so much uncertainty, as you said. This is, I think we're 1 week in. And I think our last episode, it was kind of a little bit of a joke. So I apologize for that, anyone suffering. And now it's to the point where Ryan's in Ohio and I'm in Illinois. And in Illinois, we shut down all the restaurants on March 20th. And we're considering a full lockdown. And we're banning door-to-door sales. What's the situation like in Ohio, Ryan?
Very similar here in Ohio. Our governor, Mike DeWine, has been very aggressive in the way that he's handled everything. I think it was Sunday night or Monday night, we shut down all bars and restaurants, and obviously, no gatherings of more than 10 people. So we've just seen, the stores get swamped with people hoarding up on toilet paper. I think that's a national thing. But, it just, yeah, life as we know it has completely changed. People are working from home. People have lost their jobs. It's been a lot of change, and it's just happened so fast. The last time we spoke about this, we didn't take it as seriously as we needed to, and I think a lot of people are in that boat.
And a lot of people still are in that boat. And to speak to that, because I was and kind of still am to a degree, because I'm kind of a goofy person, so I apologize for that, for joking at moments like these. That no matter if it's real, not real, the economic impacts have already happened and are going to be irreversible.
Yep.
And there are a lot of states like Illinois, because we work with small businesses, and they were staying afloat. And to just cut off revenue for a week now is just wow. And it's all aspects of life, even on the religious front. I'm Jewish. My synagogue shut down. Can't no services, no funerals, no bar mitzvahs. And so it's a real shock to everyone, and I hope everyone's being productive.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
It is crazy.
It is. Yep. And I mean, it looks like we're moving in the direction of, just taking stronger measures to keep people inside because, we're seeing it's the younger generation that's contracting the virus. A higher percentage of people with the virus are between the ages of 20 and 45, and those are the people that feel they're at the least risk of, dying from this virus. So they're being carefree, and I think we're just going to see more measures put into place to make sure this thing doesn't spread more.
Yeah, and on the energy side, what that's doing is it's making demand completely more residential demand is historic high, and commercial demand is historic low because businesses are shut down. Everyone's staying home. One thing I've noticed too, Ryan, is I'm kind of a fresh food snob, so I've been to the grocery a bunch. It really, even the stores that are open aren't too crowded. It seems, at least in my neck of the woods, that most people are staying indoors.
Yep.
And hunkering down, stocking up on TP, and
that's what I've been seeing recently too. Yeah, I went to the store yesterday and it seemed pretty normal. I think, over the weekend is when people that were fearful were really starting to stock up. So we'll see. I think if they put us on lockdown, everybody will be out. Um,
Absolutely. And one,
what?
I gotta stop saying absolutely. One, one silver lining to all of this is on the environmental front, carbon emissions are at record lows because
Yes.
there is less demand. So that is one silver lining in all of that. So people said we wanted to reduce carbon emissions, we did.
Yep.
Unfortunate circumstances. And how quickly do you think like things would bounce back if they were to get rid of the national declaration of emergency at the state level and the federal level?
Uh, are you saying
Like
in
on
terms of
demand wise, not
environmental?
economic wise, just demand wise.
Oh,
Where people
how
are
quickly
like
do I think demand would bounce back?
where people are going like people are going out more often and driving and going to work. Like I wonder how
Uh,
quick an adjustment from just everyone bunkering down to things as usual. Like that'll be an interesting transition.
Yeah, I think you'll see, in that first week or so, people will really be out and about wanting to do things that they couldn't do before. But it's
Yeah.
always going to be that lingering thought in the back of their mind. I think just the way we interact socially is going to change. You're going to see less handshakes. You're going to see people not, hug and embrace each other, out of fear of spreading a virus. But then also economic spending is going to be down tremendously. Just seeing unemployment go up, even if that doesn't have an impact on you as an individual, you're very aware of what's going on around you, so you're going to protect your finances more. So yeah, I definitely see just behavior changing on all levels, and I think it's going to take many years for our economy to be buzzing the way it was before this happened.
Yeah, and to speak to that, just at the grocery store, I think a good visual metaphor is all the paper towels and essentials are sold out, but
Right.
all the vegan stuff, all the seasoning, plenty stocked.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that will
Yeah.
continue after this because I think the average, like most Americans had $2,000 in their bank account before this crisis. So
Yep.
now you take up like even if it's temporarily, even if you get your job back, like this really could be crushing to a lot of people. So
It is. Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yep. And we can only hope that, what they can do in Washington with this stimulus package will help. But I think there's only so much that can be done. It's just going to take some time, and it's a reality we're facing.
and one thing I
Um,
will say to anyone watching is because I have been keeping my eye on this stimulus legislation, is to take advantage of it when it does come out. Because there are a lot of people that aren't going to collect on that $1,200 that do qualify. If you make under 75,000, 150 if you're married, get that $1,200 small business loan. Like there's like right now it's being crafted like who qualifies for like a low interest loan. Independent contractors may qualify as well. And so take advantage of that. There are a lot of just major Fortune 500 companies, people that have changed the world during dark times, like the
Absolutely.
2008 crash and the Great Depression.
Yep. And this is when we need people to step up, and innovate and, think differently because, like you said, that people do step up in those times, like in 2008. So I'm hoping to see somebody pave the way in the same way. I think just people have been very hesitant to step up and do anything because in these times, you want to bring everybody together. Say, hey, we're in this together, and that's not really a possibility right now. We have to keep a distance from each other, so it's tricky.
It is, and I do think it is like mentally because it's like you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yep.
And so yeah, I think a lot of people miss their grandparents that they
Yeah.
weren't calling too often.
Absolutely.
Not they can't
Yeah.
see it.
Let's go back to what you mentioned about the environmental impact because I think that's very interesting. China, not to point fingers here, but they are, the worst when it comes to their environmental impact. They just emit more than any other country. They burn more coal than any other country. But in the past couple weeks, we've seen coal consumption in China drop by 40%,
Wow,
which is huge. I've seen
wow.
all kinds of visuals and diagrams showing the difference in their, greenhouse gases and emissions over their country a few weeks ago compared to now.
One of my
So
favorite jokes is they say in Beijing it's cleaner to like breathe air through a cigarette because at least you have a filter. And so
wow,
hopefully this is helping the pollution problem.
right,
Like as I
yeah.
said, the silver lining. Because
See,
yeah, no, the record amount of concretes, like I think they've poured more concrete into China in the last 10 years than America in the last 100 years.
well,
That could just be a Twitter
here's the
meme,
issue.
but
They're working on their stimulus package because they're starting to recover. from the virus, and they're working on their stimulus package. And it looks like the one that they're going to pursue is the construction development package, right? Which is going to bring those greenhouse gases right back up to where they were before this happened, right?
That's what a lot of the articles I've been reading kind of echo that sentiment, that it's kind of like good for now. It's kind of like with the false sense of hope during a scary movie. I hate to say it, but then
Yep.
back to normal. Because like,
Yeah,
how could you not with prices so low? Because like, especially
exactly.
when you're economically starved, you don't have you can't afford to have that luxury.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, that's what's going to happen especially when we're still in the middle of this trade war. People are forgetting about,
Oh yeah.
that has not been settled, right? So both sides are taking a look at the other side, and saying, okay, what can we do here? So that hasn't stopped. And I think, you know, sooner rather than later, that back and forth between us is just going to pick back up, and it could get ugly.
It really can, and it's just it was just such a perfect storm of events. Because
Hmm.
you have the OPEC fight, you have like hot weather, hotter than normal weather, and then you have coronavirus on top of everything.
Right.
Yeah, and so
Playing
I mean, you
forces.
mentioned earlier too about speaking to how prices still could go up because of like bankruptcies, like if there's less supply due to like financial reasons,
Yep.
like company goes under. Are you worried about like how worried you are about American energy companies going under? Because I'm not
Um,
extremely worried, but I'm like kind of at a orange on the alert level. If it's like
I
green,
go
yellow,
back and
orange,
forth
yeah,
because, the making sure the utilities can keep the lights on is a matter of national security at this point.
yeah,
It's extremely important. Like,
they'll get the
and
bailout money before the airlines.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. But then, you know, we look at these federal mandates that are, that have potential. How is that going to affect utility workers? How is that going to affect people who work at power plants, right? The folks that
yeah. I
are,
think I think I emailed you. I think 40% of grid operators are working from home right now.
and that's scary
That's a
because,
national security issue.
right. So
Because if
if
you lose 1 kilowatt more than 1 watt, 1 watt more than demand, the entire thing just blows up.
exactly, and I mean, it's not like there's an abundance of people who know how to operate a power plant, right? There's few out
No,
there. So even if they say, hey, we're going to take measures to make sure that you guys are safe on the job, you may have individuals who say, I don't care, I'm staying home. You know,
yeah,
if that happens, that could destroy natural gas supply, right? If we're not keeping injection up and we just have natural gas take a huge hit, all of a sudden we have an undersupply and an over demand, and we don't have workforces and crews to go out and derive that gas. That's
and
scary. Then we're
and,
looking
la- and
at
last
blackout.
episode we talked about vulnerabilities from hacking. That is true times 1,000 right now.
We've seen multiple attempts too. I've been reading about it.
Yeah, because it's kind of, if you're a criminal, this is just a good right for opportunity. And if you're a terrorist, I hate to say it, it's the same situation.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and like you said, hate to say it, but it's a reality that
Yeah,
we have to be aware of. So,
that's why write your
um,
Congress people in these times to make sure that they put
absolutely.
energy at the forefront before the banks, before well, banks are
Yep,
important too, before airlines at least.
yep.
Yeah,
So going back to our environmental impact. I know we're kind of jumping all over because everything kind of ties in. But
yeah.
I think a lot of people's eyes have been opened to what we can do, for our environment and for the climate, just by changing the way we operate a little bit and when it comes to producing our energy. Do you think the world will behave differently, seeing this in light of this? Do you think we're going to see, immediate changes?
I think behaviorally, yes, like, and you kind of hinted that, kind of just like the conservative mindset of I'm not gonna waste time, I'm not gonna waste energy, I'm not gonna waste money. But in terms of like, it really depends on price, because if oil, like, it's gonna be hard for someone to make the switch from like a gas car to an electric car or a natural gas car
Yep.
with prices.
Right.
So it really depends. Yeah, I think behaviorally, I think people will just be more considerate, and they won't buy. I don't think they won't hoard toilet paper when this all settles down. Like
Yep.
when they eat and when they work, they won't be as wasteful. But
Exactly.
I don't think you'll see like the big green energy shift that a lot of people have hoped for. At least not now.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's say you're a business and you survived this. You're a small business, you're a restaurant, you survived the coronavirus, but things are tight when you open your doors back up. And you look at your energy costs and you haven't dealt with it for a while. What's the first thing that you're doing to get your costs down?
Well, the first thing is like this happens to be like we're kind of entering coincidental peak season. So one thing I tell every customer is to be mindful of the peak days and not use them to cut. Because like the two ways to like save energy is one, behavior, and two, like contract negotiation. Contract negotiation, call Ryan, call me. Like we can help you on that. That's human. But like the other side to like saving on energy is behavior. And there are a lot of small minor tweaks that will not affect your day-to-day work that could have a major impact.
Absolutely.
And reducing on the coincidental peak periods is one way to do that. And it's very simple. But once again, call Ryan, call myself after this is over or during. We're not going anywhere. But because I posted on my Facebook, and it's like it's just true, and it is a little insensitive about how like the fearful when be greedy when others are fearful, and it's just common sense. Like it's what you do with that savings or with the money that you make from it. Like be a good person, be a good company. Don't sell a bad product. But now is the best time to take advantage of the market. Low interest loans, buying property, buying stock. What's it called? Buying energy, everything.
Yeah, and I mean I think that's just. And I think that's just intelligent at the end of the day. I some conversations I've had with some organizations is like you want us to take advantage of the crash in the market, and the answer to that is yes. I hate to look at it as an opportunity, but it is a smart business move to position yourself, accordingly because
you're not taking advantage because you're not like it's not like you're taking someone's spot by buying energy now. That's just what the price of energy is due to all these crazy market conditions. And so it's not like you're like taking advantage. You're really just making a smart decision. And when you do feel lucky, when this all settles down in a few months from now, you could do something nice with the savings.
Yeah.
My answer to people that are concerned about making decisions during this time.
Yeah.
But it is just common sense and a fact. And if you are running a business, I would think about your employees too. Where it's not like you're saving money so you can keep your employees and keep your products and keep your doors open.
Yeah. And so Max, you being a guy who's keeps up to speed on everything, in Washington and on the political realm, what kind of impact do you think this is going to have, on the presidential race?
I don't look at the polls. I look at Vegas for the presidential race. And Trump was below 50% odds for the entire first 3 years of his presidency. After the Ukrainian, during the Ukraine the hearings is when he finally was above 50%. He peaked at 58% odds, and now he's back down to 46. So it's really critical how he handles it, and then Joe Biden's got to keep it together because he is a gas machine. That's not going to go away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now the odds are about even. They say it's like Trump 48, Joe Biden 46, and then a bunch of crazy what if scenarios like Mike Pence or Hillary Clinton or Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah.
Yeah, she might jump in. We'll see.
And I think just as a result of all of this, when these debates are going on and just the hot topics of conversation, it's going to be disaster response. It's going to be energy. Unemployment. I think those are going to be the major topics of conversation, and I am a bit excited to see energy be more of a focus as a result of it.
I don't think we're going to talk about Twitter. I don't think we're going to talk about social issues. I do think it's going to be to the meat of what a president does and is supposed to do. Yeah. So that is another silver lining. Is that I think the people are just like, okay, we have no time for BS. Yeah. Just like Trump, what have you done for me? What are you going to do for me? Biden, same question.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, we're going to be so focused on, our economy. Because like you said, at the beginning of the podcast, regardless of your opinion on how serious this virus is, what it's going to do to our population, and the economic impacts have already taken place. We have to face that as reality. And I think, that is going to be key moving forward to see, okay, who's going to look at energy as an asset and as an opportunity to, help the country out, or are we going to be focusing on social issues and bantering back and forth? So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and I do think I am optimistic though, just for people kind of elevating the conversation on issues. And politically too, it's also one thing that was really interesting that I like people coming together on is there were as of today, there's 4 insider trading allegations of 3 Republicans and 1 Democratic senator that had inside information about Corona, was telling everyone like, hey, it's okay, this will pass, and then they dumped millions in shares. Like one senator dumped, she sold 30 stocks for like $2 million, and then bought 1 stock in like a e-conferencing company, a teleconferencing company like this that went up during this storm. And so I think Republicans and Democrats and independents are kind of united against that nonsense. So that was a good development because I hate that.
Me too. Yeah, that should not be happening.
No, and as someone that like definitely loses more than wins in the stock market, especially angers me, insider trading during a time like this.
Absolutely. I mean, no one has any idea what we're going to see in the market. I mean, we could have started this podcast up 100 points in the Dow Jones, and then by the time we check it when we get off, we're down 2,000. The volatility's been unbelievable because the whole world is watching. Everyone's waiting to see what is said, and anytime anything is said, we have a reaction, and that's being just carried over into the market, in all markets.
Yeah, I think Corona is really kind of like sunlight, where it is exposing a lot of weaknesses and like fundamental weaknesses in the market. Like one interesting stat I actually learned in an energy management like video conference thing that was just like, is 82% of the S&P 500 is intellectual assets, or $23 trillion.
Wow.
And so that's why I think the market reacts to hype so much. And that's really being exposed by Corona because people's books aren't going to, like, next quarter is not going to be hot for a lot of companies.
Exactly.
And that worries me.
It's not going to.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you wanted to touch on, man? That's all I got.
There were some jokes. We got to, I said I was like earlier, I said we got to be goofy. Because I do hope everyone's doing all right and being entertained and taking this seriously. But in the end, everything will be okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Do you have any positivity, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm an optimist, by nature. So, glass is always half full for me. I think this is very serious, and I think it's important that everyone recognizes that. But I think it's also important that we look back at history in the trying times that we've had and how we've prevailed, So I think that will happen. And if you can endure and pass the test of time, you're going to be fine. And I think there are opportunities within this, and take that however you'd like. But I think just being aware of what's going on and positioning yourself, in a place that's going to help you get through this, you're going to be fine. So that's kind of my perspective on everything. I'm just kind of taking things day by day, but I trust our country, and I trust our world and our ability to come together and fight through this. And I know everything's going to be fine.
Well, I agree. Thanks for that. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. There will be a next time. I'm confident of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Quarantine or no quarantine, we will be back. Energy Tonight.